Salams and welcome. We are now at episode number 13 in the series Prophet Muhammad by Harun Yahya, printed in Malaysia and Turkey, and we're showing how the role model example, the sterling example of the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, and that is why 2 billion Muslims love him and regard him as a role model, how he transformed the rough, rustic Bedouin Arabs into dazzling diamonds of the highest ethics, morals, personal integrity, and helping the poor, helping the widows, helping those who are disadvantaged. In the previous episode, we talked about the patience showed by the Prophet and his companions in the face of tremendous difficulties. As is revealed in the verses of the Quran, some people had not the slightest idea of the basics of good manners. These rough Bedouin deserts did not have good manners. They were uncouth, they were rustic, they were violent, they were raw people. They did not know the meaning of what is good manners, what is chivalrous behavior. They did not care about that. They were rough people. And the Prophet, peace and blessing, transformed them into the most gentlest people, into the most well-mannered people, the most respectful people, the most kind people, the most moral people, the most ethical people. Besides the 5 pillars, he showed them that Islam, you cannot be a good Muslim unless and until you hold up the banner of social justice, help the poor, the orphans, the widows and sick, take away racism, take away discrimination. And the second main thing is develop the best character. You must transform yourself to have the best manners, the best morals, the best ethics, the most respectful human being, the most kind human being. You must be honest in your business transactions. You must be honest when you are dealing with other people. Help people, lift them up. Don't oppress the people. Even if you are strong and powerful, this is the hallmark of a courageous person, the hallmark of good character, that a strong and powerful people does not oppress people, but helps people. If you're a strong and powerful organization, even if you're a Forbes 500 fortune company, or you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you don't have monopoly, you don't have hegemony, you don't oppress the weaker companies, you help them, you build the people, and you distribute your wealth through zakat, so in that way you eradicate poverty. Islam teaches become a rich, very rich capitalist, but you have a leaning towards the poor people. So capitalism on its own is very bad. Socialism on its own is very bad. Islam gives a solution which is called philanthropic capitalism. Be as rich as you can, but pay your poor due to help the people so money circulates. Money must not just sit with the rich people. You must share the money with the poor people. So in this way money circulates, and in this way you fight poverty. So as is revealed in the verses of the Quran, some people did not have the slightest idea of even the basics of good manners, for which reason it never entered their mind that they might appall someone who possessed superior morality. The Prophet ﷺ displayed the greatest patience. He was so patient with his people. Sometimes he would be sitting there. He was a person of noble dignity. And these rough people would grab his clothes like this or grab him like this, leave marks on his body. But he did not feel offended. He was patient with them. One of these rough Bedouin Arabs came into the mosque and just started urinating in the corner there. And the other companions grabbed him and said, "Hey, how can you urinate in the mosque?" And the Prophet said, "Be gentle with him. He is from the desert. He's a Bedouin. He does not know. Teach him in a nice way." Look at the beautiful example he gives. That even though they were correct in assaulting that person or throwing him out from the mosque, he said, "No, be gentle with the guy. This guy is uncouth. He does not know proper manners. Teach him nicely. If you teach him nicely, he will learn." So how can we learn? If you see a staff member doing something wrong, don't be rough with them. Don't scream and shout with them. Teach them in a nice way. You know what? That email that you sent out was not in a nice way. This is a bet. Next time, do it in this way. Your staff member will be so impressed. One thing must never do. If someone does wrong, don't scream at your staff member in front of other people. No, you are humiliating and you are embarrassing them. Don't think that because you are a manager or you are a boss of an organization that you have the right to just to scream to the staff. No, you must not do that. Staff are also human beings. Your employees are human beings. If they have done something wrong, call them into your office, close the door, Talk to them softly. Don't scream so loud that everyone else can hear what is going on. Don't do that just because you are in power. Islam says, no, don't humiliate another person. Because if you're going to humiliate another person, tomorrow it may be your chance. Yeah, so you can fall from a high position, you can drop very low. So even if you're in a high position, talk gently to the people. Talk gently to your children. If your children have made a mistake, talk kindly to them. If you're a teacher, if your students, your pupils have made a mistake, never ever humiliate a pupil in a school. We find many examples, and when I give my brain workshops, the delegates tell me how they were humiliated by the teacher. And these are people who are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. They say, we still remember, my teacher told me, hey, you stand up, go stand in the corner. You are a very stupid person. And this people, they remember it for the rest of their life, and they think they are stupid. You know why? Because the teacher told them. So let's not traumatize our children. So Islam teaches that be kind to the people, even if someone makes a mistake. And that's why there's a difference between parents and grandparents. Parents are very busy running their businesses, trying to earn a career, whereas grandparents have gone through that phase of their life. That's why grandparents, they sit with their children. They are more loving to their grandchildren than what they were to their own children. So grandparents have got so much patience. They have so much kindness with their grandchildren. They sit with them. They say, what are you now doing? Okay, show me how you're doing this. And the grandparent will say, no, that is not the way to do things. This is the way you do things. And the grandparent will then say, please ask this of your children or your grandchildren. Is anyone bullying you at school? And the child will tell you. Because in every school, we all grew up. I used to be bullied in school. Why? Because I'm a small person. We used to be bullied. People used to take your specs away and say, 4 eyes, and they used to run away with your specs. What do? You can't see anything, because you don't have money to buy new specs. So everyone gets bullied. So please remember, bullying is a pandemic. It is an epidemic in schools in this country, throughout the world. So if you are in a school where there's bullying, Islam shows the kind people must stand together. If you're part of the weak people must stand together. I'm just trying to find one of these things that I had. The weak people must stand together. They must not allow the bullies. You see, the good people of the world are 90% of the people are good. The bullies are this 10%. They are the rubbish, But the rest of the good people must stand together. Don't allow these bullies. Don't allow them to take advantage of you. So if you've got a bully in school, the good ones must support you. Go to the teacher, go to the administration, go to the school, and it is a duty of the school and the teachers to give out notices to say bullying is not allowed. Bullying physically is not allowed. Mental bullying is not allowed. Even cyber bullying is not allowed on the internet. We don't allow that bullying. So please, let's get rid of bullying. And that's what Islam teaches, that you must help the people, encourage the people with patience. And even if people make mistakes, don't scream and shout at them. They are human beings. Teach them in a nice way. So the Prophet showed that these rough Bedouin Arabs, when they used to come from the rural areas into the city life, and they did not have good manners. They were very uncouth. They were not cultured people. But slowly, through his gentleness and patience, he slowly transformed them. He showed them what is the way, how to behave in a proper way. Even in a very serious example, in the Battle of Uhud, the second battle, we remember when we went to Medina, in the second year of the Hijrah, there was a Battle of Badr. A fabulous victory for the Muslims. A small force of 313 people vanquished a force of 1,000 of heavily armed, trained soldiers from Mecca. So a force of 3-1, the Muslims had a massive victory. The year after that was the Battle of Uhud, because now the Quraysh said, we're going to get revenge. So they gave 3,000 people. 3,000. The Muslims had 1,000. But from the 1,300 went away. They were part of the hypocrites. Abdullah ibn Ubay, the hypocrite. So they left with 700 people against 3,000 people. In this again, the Muslims were winning. They were winning the battle. But there was a critical junction at which the archers were not supposed to leave their post. The Prophet gave very clear instructions. You 50 guys, you sit here because this is a weak spot at our rear. You 50 guys, don't leave. If you find we are all dead, you don't leave. If you find we have won a victory, you don't leave. You only leave when I come to you and I tell you, now you can leave your post. Very simple instructions. But what happened? In the early part of the battle, when the Muslims were winning, the 700 were winning the 3,000. The 3,000 were running away. And the Muslims thought they had won the battle. They forgot a very important principle. Think of it as a soccer match. They were winning, the Muslims were winning, say they were winning 3-0. One goal after another goal after another goal, they were winning 3-0. But they forgot about injury time. So in the injury time, these 50 archers, out of them, 40 left the post, 10 still remained there. But 40 of them ran onto the field to collect the booty. And on the side, Khalid bin Walid, he was watching on the cavalry. He said, okay, those guys have left the weak spot, let's go. So in the last few minutes, in injury time, the Muslims were winning 3-0. Khalid bin Walid came, boom, one goal, another goal, another goal. So it wasn't a loss for the Muslims, it was like a draw. So in the last minutes of injury time, the Quraysh, they scored 3 goals. So the Battle of Uhud came out to a draw. It was 3 goals on each side. No one lost, no one won. But the Prophet could have been very angry with them. He was injured in that battle. He could have been very angry with the people to say that, but didn't I tell you, because we would do the same. I would do the same. If I gave you clear instructions to say, but I told you, please don't leave that. Didn't I tell you? They say, yes, you told us. Wasn't the instruction clear? Yes, the instruction was clear. Didn't I tell you, you must only move when I give you the... You say, yes. So why did you move? So the Prophet would have been justified if he would have been angry with them. What did he show? He showed patience. He showed how to be a better human being. He showed the best qualities of sportsmanship. He said, you made a mistake, I forgive you. And the Quran said, you dealt with them in such a beautiful, in such a kind, and in such a gentle way that it softened their hearts. They are now loving you even more. Had you been harsh with them, and you are justified in being harsh with them, but had you been harsh with them, they would have run away from you. It would have broken the team spirit. Okay, so the team spirit is very important. Be gentle with your team members. Overlook their faults, but they must draw the line. If some team members are just lazy, they're dragging the team down, then please, you must draw the line. Thank you for all your motivation. Thank you for motivating me and encouraging me. Keep on sending me your hearts. Thank you for your subscription. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe, and let's share lessons how we ourselves in our personal lives, how we can be better human beings, how we can be total quality human beings, and how we can strive with excellence through the philosophy of Kaizen, which is ongoing quality improvement, which is a Japanese philosophy to say the samurai concept of Bushido. You must have the highest morals and conduct, and must be very strive for excellence in everything that you do. And that is why I love the Japanese people and the Chinese people. They strive for excellence in everything that they do. Stay well. Look after yourself. Alhamdulillah.